Okay, well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending the key device contact training in regards to the new devices that will replace older copiers on campus. If everyone could make sure you mute your mics, that'll help with any background noises. Can everyone hear me? Because I'm seeing a message down at the... Okay, so yeah, you should be able to hear me. Suma Mora will be, with Zena, will be providing the training today, and she can answer any questions you may have. I'll be recording this session, and I'll have a link to the training and to this recording to access on the PrintSmart website at a later time. Also, as far as any questions that you may have, you can put those in chat, and then Suma will be able to, we'll take some time at the very end, and they can go through your questions. So I'll go ahead and turn this over to Suma. Thanks.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your patience. I just had a little technical difficulty, but we seem to resolve it. I want to welcome all of you to the Xerox training, your new Xerox devices. Sorry? There are two models, the AltoLinks, which will be the C8100 series. It could be an 8135, 45, or 70, 55 as well. And then you also have the AltoLinks, the VersaLinks, which will be the model numbers, either B405, it could be a color C405s, or it could be model 7000s. And but as you can see, take a look at the display, you're going to see that it's a tablet-like interface, very user-friendly. So if you are familiar with using smart devices, you're going to feel very comfortable utilizing the new technology. Some of you may have it already, and just want to cover the new interface with you. So when you walk to the device, this is what you are going to see. Depending on your department, not all of the icons that you see here, or apps as they're called nowadays, will be displayed. They're going to be customized depending on your building or your department. As you take a look at it, you can see the layout is just like a smart tablet. On the upper right-hand corner, let me hide this over here. You have your power button, just like your smart devices. Just nothing different: cancel, restart, sleep mode, and power off. If you do power off the device, you want to wait for the power button to stop flashing. And once it stops flashing on the AltoLinks, the C8100s or the B8100s and the 7000s, you open the front cover, and then you'll be able to turn off the power switch and wait 10 seconds, turn it back on. And then what you would do is just press the power button a few seconds, and the device will restart. We'll start loading the system. The restart is strictly just like your computer restarting the software, and that's it. The home button, as you can see over here to the right, just takes you to the main screen. And then the reset, basically what that does, it resets all your applications. So it defaults everything back to default, all your settings, in case someone behind you forgot to reset it. Over here on this little button right here is called that's the interrupt button. And what that is used for is if you have jobs, a large job, whether it's a print job or a copy job that you're in the middle of, but you need to make a quick copy or a quick ID card copy, what you can do is press the interrupt button. The job is going to pause for a few seconds, and it'll allow you to make your copy. Once you're done, then you want to press the interrupt button again, and the print job or the copy job will continue where it left off. Okay. As far as your applications here, we have the copy application, just to explain the layout. of the new screen. As you can see, the top part pertains to the application. In this case, is copy. What can you do there? Obviously, you can select quantity, you can clear it, and then the start button on the upper right-hand corner of the display will allow you to make a copy, make your copies. The bottom of the screen, and you can see on the left side is the list of all your features pertaining to this application. And to the right, you will see the default setting for that particular feature. So if I need a document, if I have a document that is color, mixed color, and then black and white as well, I could just click here, select auto detect, and then I insert my documents in the feeder and will print or will make a copy of my document. Over here, you also have the rest of the features. The two-sided copying allows you to select whether it's 1 to 2-sided, 2-sided to 2-sided, and so forth. More just gives you the whole picture of all the different options. So if you had a document that maybe was a 2-sided, but you need to, the image is rotated on the second side, then this is where you select that option. X just brings you back to the screen, the previous screen. Collation. Collation allows you, this particular machine does not have a finisher. However, it does have an internal tray. And in there, by default, your jobs are collated. They're placed in the correct order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And some of the machines may have a finisher. So in here, instead of collation, you will see finisher or finishing. And that will allow you to select whether you want stapling. Stapling, if you did have a hole punch as an example, then that would give you those options as well for your finishing. The rest of the features that you see here should be familiar with, the reduction and enlargement. Your original types allow you to select different types of originals based on the document that you have. If you're doing, for example, photographs, it's always recommended that you select the photo because it gives you the best quality. A truer reproduction, if you're doing anything like with drawings or with maps, map is a great feature to use. More gives you even a more detailed selection of how your document was originally reproduced. So something to look at in case you really want a very precise reproduction of your original. The slider here, you can see how easy it is to slide your lighter and darker orientation, original size. This is something that you guys are familiar with. Automatically detected document. So if it's placed in the document feeder, it does recognize the size or a piece of paper in the document feeder. If you do have a pre-scanned area, and sometimes you may see this screen when you place a document on the glass, especially if it's a smaller size, it will ask you to select a size. So the 8.5 by 11 is the primary one that you would select. However, if you do have small documents, it's always recommended that you select a size. So this way you don't have, it doesn't auto rotate or it prints exactly as you want it. You have other options in here as well, as you can see, for your odd size originals as well. The custom scan area is just if you really do need to place or enter the precise size of the document that you're trying to scan, for example, a certificate or something, and you want to enlarge it or reduce it, then you want to give the correct width and length. So you then select the paper tray so that it will enlarge it or reduce it to the correct paper size proportionally. Mixed size originals allows you to select valid pairs, such as letter and 14-inch. So what it does is when you load the documents in the feeder, it will automatically detect the size of each individual's page and we'll determine. Can somebody please mute your phones or your speakers? Thank you. This will allow you to detect the correct size of the document, whether it's a letter size or a 14-inch. The second pair, valid pair, is the 8.5 by 11 and the 17-inch. So this is, if you have any questions, you can always click on the I information to give you details as well. All right. The rest of the features you should be familiar with because they're the same as the work centers, whether you have 78, 7900s or 58, 5900s as well. The show additional features, what this does is it shows the remaining features that are hidden. And if you don't see it in that first screen, primary screen, then you just select to display the additional features and you can see the rest of them here. Reset allows you to default everything back to the default settings. When you're done, press the home button, takes you back to the home screen. One moment, please. The next one, I apologize, I wanted to put a sheet of paper in the document in the glass. The next one is the email. And so email, right now there are no address books that are programmed into the device. So normally you would see either manual entry, you may see favorites, another button that says favorites, and then the address book, the device address book. So you could select the favorites or the device address book as well. However, in this case, I'm going to demonstrate how to add a new email if you're not listed, if you're not programmed in your address book. So the first thing you would do is enter the email address, and I'm just going to put s.mora. And notice that at the bottom, you have the @ if you are at ufl.edu, you could select that so you don't have to type it, or you can type at the domain, and then here you have other options to select, either .com, .org, etc. So once I do that, over here to the right, you notice that you have a little purple icon. That's the address book. So if you want to save it to the address book, you click on that button, and then you create a new contact. Once you do that, at the very first field, you want to change that from the email address and just type, if you just want to put it, leave it as Mora, or you could just put your name. I'm just going to put Suma. Whatever you decide to do, just give it your name, or and normally I just take the @domain.edu.com and save that part. If you want to be part of a favorite, then just make sure that you click on the little star, make it shine, and you can save the contact. So now, the next time, I'm just going to reset so we could see how that works. The next time that I go to my email, notice that now I have a favorites button. So here I can go in and I can select Sulma, or I can also go to my contacts if you're not listed in the contacts, in the favorites. The good thing about this is that if you are a frequent scanner and you are not set as a favorite, I can always select my email by clicking on the I button. And notice that in here, I can make changes. So if I was not a favorite, I could go ahead and click on the little star, hit the OK button, and now I'm going to select me. Okay, so here I am. Notice that I can continue to add more recipients, or from here, I can change the subject line, the attachment right here, the little paper clip. By default, your attachment will be labeled the date and time. However, I can just put something different, name the document from here, right? To the right, you have the file formats. By default, it's a multi-page PDF. You also have a PDF A, which is more compressed. It's only image. It cannot be edited, or that's it. It's only for viewing purposes. You have the other options here, TIFF, JPEG, XPS, and more. JPEG, of course, for images. But if you select more, again, that's going to give you the whole picture of all the options available for the file format. With your PDF, you can make it searchable. This if you do have small files, you can do this. If you have large files, they could take a while for it to process. But with small files, you can make it searchable. Also, you can make it password protected. So if you need to email this document to outside the university, or you just need to make sure that it's encrypted so it doesn't get opened by individuals that should not have any access to it, then you can enter your password here. Of course, send it to the individuals or call them, and then to open the document. So you can password protect it right from here. The other option you have is also called multi-page PDF by default. However, if you have, let's say, single page documents, and you have, let's say that you have, I've used this as an example, a student profile, and it was 1 page and you had 30 of them. Normally, you would insert the document in the feeder and press scan, right? So you got to do it 30 times and you get 30 emails. So instead of doing that, you could just select, I want 1 file per page. And then I would select OK. And then when I press the send, I will get 30 attachments in 1 email. And I only have 1, and that's okay. But you can see that as an example, this is what you'll see when the document is emailed. You can just, if you're done, you can just hit the X, and it may not work because this is me using that as an example. I can just close by hitting the X, and then if I need to scan somewhere else or select a different email, then I can go back. And if I don't want SULMA anymore, I can remove it from here, add my next recipient, or so forth. All right, so that's how the email works. As far as the features, same layout as the copy. You have the ability to preview the documents as well, but you will not be able to delete them if you don't like them. It just allows you to view the image, and you cannot rotate them, just view them. Some people like to view their documents, and that's what that is for. As far as the rest of the features, they're there, as you can see. Again, additional features can be displayed if you don't see the ones that you've used in the past. Does anybody scan any large files greater than 130 pages, or no? There's a feature called, and I will, let me add myself one more time just to demonstrate how the job build works. So the job build allows you to, excuse me, if I turn on job build, it allows me to scan multiple files to my email. So if I have a document, I label it. So this is file 1. And it's going to be a multi-page PDF. And I'm going to press the scan button. So notice that the build job screen comes up. This allows me to do a couple of things. Number 1, I can continue scanning the next segment. So if I had a file that was greater than 130 pages, which the bigger machines, the document feeder holds 130 pages. And let's say I had a 200-page document, I needed to break it into segments. I could go ahead and scan my first segment. I can now scan the second segment. And just notice that if I look at the file here, now it shows 2 pages, and I just placed the document on the glass because I didn't want to have to keep going back and forth to the machine. So if I had, let's say that I am done with that particular file, I have a different file to scan, I can go to a new attachment, or I can go to program next segment. So if my next segment happened to be a 2-sided document, or maybe I needed to be just black and white and I wanted to be strictly text as an example, then I can go ahead and select my features. And then now I can name my second document. All right. So hit OK. I'm going to scan that. So notice that I have 2 attachments, not 1, but 2 different attachments. So if I scan that particular file and I'm done with it and I'm ready to add another attachment, then basically all I would do is select new attachment, or again, I can go and change the program, the next segment. Okay. Or if I need to add another segment to the current file, I just press the scan next segment. Let's see if I can do this. Sorry, scan the next segment, which I just did. And then I can continue, or if I'm done, I just press the submit button. The job will then be built and it will be emailed. Now just keep in mind what your maximum file size for the attachment is. I'm not sure what it is for the university, so don't get too carried away. This is a great feature to use for small size files. All right. The other feature that we have in here, you can also use it with build job or just on its own. It's called, I'll point that out. If you do documents that are 2-sided, and some of those pages are 1-sided, and you just want to scan it. Maybe it's a training manual, and maybe you just want to scan all the images, all the pages, but not the blank pages. So notice that I went to additional features, and I selected two features here: automatic background suppression and blank page removal. So one thing else that I need to do is I need to ensure that I select 2-sided. Obviously, my output color by default is set to auto detect. And then, again, it's going to be to Soma. I can change the file name if I choose to. I'm just going to leave it like that, and let me insert the documents in the feeder real quick. I press the send button. And if you notice, it's going to scan for images, for documents, for originals. When the job is completed, you should get only 3, because it was just 3 pages. Excuse me, 2 documents. One page was 2-sided and the second one was only 1-sided. So when you get it in your email, you would only get 3 images. The blank page is completely removed. Okay, so those are a couple of options that you can utilize in the email that maybe you were not aware of, but that's a great feature to use. All right, the next one, it's going to be ID card copy. So some of you may copy driver's licenses or smaller documents. This one will allow you to scan the front of the ID and the back of the ID on the same side of one sheet of paper. So very simple to use. The instructions are right there, so you can see. Place the front of the ID close to the edge, not right up against the edge, but about an inch away from the edge. And then you can select your quantity, output color. You can also enlarge the image if you need to, or if you have a larger document that you want to fit into that document as well, you can also reduce it. You can click on proportional. So you're not limited just to same size or large. You can also reduce a large document to fit into this selected size of paper that you chose. Always make sure if you want it on letter paper, make sure that the paper supply displays 8.5 by 11 plain paper. If you did want it on a different size, obviously the machine here does not have other sizes, but then you could select the appropriate paper tray. Okay. If you're doing driver's licenses, by default, we set it to photo because it does a better reproduction of the image, of the photograph. If it needs to be lightened, obviously you can adjust the lighter, darker. And then all you really would do is press the scan button to scan the front. However, let's say that you don't need the back. All you do is remove the driver's license from the glass and just close the cover, scan the back, and then you'll get your copy. All right. And right now I don't have any paper in the tray, so I'm sorry, I apologize. But that's what will happen. You'll get your original. Obviously, if I made a mistake in this situation, I can also cancel the job or add the paper and it will work fine. So this is how the ID card copy works. So you can either scan the front and the back of the document, small document, or you can also do the front of the driver's license if you have Social Security. That could be used for your scanning the back as well. Or you can just simply scan one side. You can also use it for other outside documents, same concept. Some of you may have folders, and right now, this is not configured, but you will have, you will be able to select either favorites or the address book, and you will have a list of the folders in there. The scan to feature or application on the AutoLinks and the VersaLinks allows you to scan to multiple destinations. By that, we mean that you can scan to multiple folders, or you can scan to folder and email at the same time. That's the reason why you see an email here. So you'll see both folders and emails. Once you select the destination, again, same as the features are there, just like your email. So I'm not going to go over this one because it's the same concept. Okay. As far as workflow scanning, we're not sure if some of you may have that. Again, it's scanning to the folder. When you select it, you'll see your folders in there. Right now, there's nothing programmed here, so you'll see a folder in there, you'll select it. And again, as you can see, the features are the same. And you just make your selections and then scan your documents. Okay. Jobs application allows you to see any jobs that have been processed or completed or deleted. So it's a job log of everything that's been processed through the device. So right now I was trying to do the email. I know that it's not going to work. So at this point, notice that the job is sitting there. There are times that you're going to see a situation where it will say the job did not print, you sent it from your computer, and it will tell you that it's being held for resources. Basically all you will always want to do is select the job details, and it will describe to you, what paper type or what size of paper it's looking for. And 99% of the times it's either out of paper, or maybe the wrong size of paper was loaded in the tray, or it could be that the type of paper was not selected. So you want to ensure that you look at the details. This is just an email, but with the Help for Resources, there's going to be a handout that explains it, so you can always refer to it. And it's really no different than the work centers, that when you send a job that didn't print correctly, it's for that reason. The size of the paper was incorrect. The type of the paper was incorrect. There's been instances where people have accidentally selected recycled paper instead of plain paper. So if it doesn't match, guess what? It's going to give you a Help for Resources until the situation is resolved. So this email, I'm just going to delete it. So I'm going to go ahead and delete it here. So this way it just goes away. If anybody does any secure printing from their computer, if they need to retrieve their jobs, and secure printing allows you to select a passcode. It's your own personal passcode. It could be 1234000, whatever it is, 4 digits up to 12 digits. You enter it from your computer, and you do this by going into File, Print Preferences, and then select the job. For the job type, select secure job, enter your passcode twice, and then print it, and then the job will be sent here. And you will see a folder with a lock and your name on it. You select the job, the folder. At that point, you enter your passcode, and then you can either print or delete your jobs. Device allows you to, basically it's all information about your device in here. So you can look at notifications. So it tells you what type of issues or what type of items need to be addressed. I point out the fault history here. This button here is very helpful for when you place service calls. If you see a fault code in there that shows a great deal, you might want to provide that to the service when you place the call, so they can look it up and see if they need to bring a particular part, or it gives them an idea where you're having your issues, the subsystem of the device. If you need supplies information, you can look for supplies right there. It tells you how much toner you have, also other supplies, your waste toner container. Make sure you have one on hand. It only shows whether it's okay or if it's low. It doesn't give you percentages, so you want to ensure that you have one available. If you're not really sure what supplies you need to have on hand, you can see down here on the upper right-hand corner, lower right-hand corner, print supplies report. You can print that, and it gives you the part numbers for that. If you need to look at your billing usage as well, here's where you find that as well. Okay. And the rest of these other items are utilized by the service technicians or your IT department. And about, I should have said that first. This one gives you information about your device in case they ask you to look at the software version. Your IT should be able to remote into it and see all the details, but just in case, it's all right here. Okay, so that's the AltaLink that we just went over. Now, some of you noticed that we were able to add emails, and you will also, this particular device does not have a fax option, but you can also add fax numbers in the same fashion as we did with email. If you need to program fax numbers, all you would do is select the fax, and then just like you enter the fax number, you would see your little address book icon like we saw in the email, and then you will just add it and save it as a favorite if you choose to, or and then you can use it for for the future. So that's the AltaLink. Also, for you ladies and gentlemen that have the ability to go to the website, and you can also program the address book contact by going through the web interface. Right now, if you find out what the IP address of your machine is, and it's very easy to find it on the AltaLinks, they're right here. If you look on the upper left-hand corner, you see the IP address of the machine. So you can go to the browser, you just type the IP address of the device, press enter, and notice that it takes you to the interface of the device. You're going to select the address book, and notice that you don't need any login information to access the address book. From here, you can add, edit, or delete your entries. To add an entry, simply just select it. You could put the first name and the last name separately, and it will be displayed backwards. So when you look at it on the display, it will show the last name first, first name second. Or you could just simply put the name here. Soma Smith, and your email is .smith. And then I'm just going to put whatever my email is, and I'm going to do that for right now. If I want to add it as a favorite, I click mail favorite. Notice that in here, if you have a company that you want to program a fax number, basically you enter the company name here, and then you program your fax number like you would dial it right at the machine. Once you're done, you can have either save if you only have one entry. However, if you have multiple entries, you can click on add another contact after saving, and then hit the save button. Now, just to point out one thing, that if you do require a folder destination, that will be something that you would need to contact your IT department to program for you. Okay, so I save that. And here you go. I have my individual added to the list. So you can continue adding contacts, or as you can see, you have all your favorites here. You're going to see the list here. One thing that you can do with your favorites, notice that down here at the bottom for all favorites, notice that I have two options. One of them is I can alphabetize them. And the second one is I can move people up or down. You see how it changed the order? So you have the ability to do that as well. Okay, in the management here, you can export your address book. So if you have a large address book, I strongly recommend that you export it, save it as a CSV file, so that if something should happen to the machine, you don't have to retype everything from scratch. You have it updated, and you can import it back into the device. So all I would do is just export. And anytime you make any changes, just export it, save it. Once you do, notice that it gives the date and the time. All right. So you can move it somewhere else if you choose to, or normally I recommend that you keep a folder specifically for Xerox, and then just save all your information there. Once you do that, then you can close. To import the address book, simply go back to management, import from file, and then you choose your file. And let's see. I need to go to my downloads. Here's my address book. All right. Once I choose my file, what you want to do, it's right here where it says, let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see. Right down here, it says check replace existing device address book with new contacts. want to make sure it deletes if you're updating it. Make sure that if there any information there, make sure that you remove it, upload, and notice that it shows my my import. Once I do see that everything looks good, then I click import. And oh, this may require administrator. I didn't realize. So you can export it, but if you do require to import it, you can have the technician do it. They have administrator rights, or just give it to your IT department. Okay, to do that as well. I think this is new with the new security on these devices, so they trying to restrict a little bit more. Any questions on the address book or the AltaLink? Maybe we should take a couple of questions before we move to the next one.
Sloma, I had a couple questions come in to me.
Yes.
The first was, will they be able to scan to secure folders?
Well, the secure folders are set up by their IT department.
Okay. And that would be something that would be through that scan to.
Yeah, they
app.
will set up the scan to or the workflow scanning. Those are the two apps that allow you to scan to a folder. So on the AltaLink, it will be scan to or workflow. If they have a VersaLink, which would be a 7,000 model or a 4,400 model, it would be only scan to.
Okay.
AltaLink is either workflow or scan to.
So related to that, they're asking, how do you add folders that you can scan directly to them? Is that something that would have to be also set up via their IT?
All of that. So the reason that it has to go through IT, because they're the only ones that know the path. They're the only ones that know the credentials. We
Okay.
have no access for security reasons, obviously. So that's not something that it's that simple to set up. So that's why you have to involve your IT department.
Okay. All right. Well, we have about 15 minutes left. And so
Okay.
a mix of questions or whatever else you think.
What I was
should
going to
go
do
over.
is I was going to cover the, let me see, go to the VersaLink, the smaller device. Let me plug it in, let's see. Does anybody have any other questions?
I did. I had a quick question. If on that address book import,
Yes.
we have several, what are they called? Work centers,
Right.
the older models. Will that address book come into the newer machines without problems, or do they have to be massaged a little bit?
They may have to be massaged a little bit. We're working with the IT department to address that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. There's going to be some templates that will be provided to them so they can do what they can simplify the process.
Yeah, I can send that out. Once that's available, I can send that out to everybody.
Right. So what I'm doing right now is logging in. This is the smaller device. This is an example of the VersaLink B405. I'm going to just show you the control panel for that device so you can see a little bit of the difference. It's very much the same, because this is a little user-friendly device, a little bit simpler. There's some things that are a little bit different, but for the most part, everything is the same. As you can see, the look is the same. It has a smaller display. However, it's the same look as the AltaLinks. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Okay, so as you can see, the layout of the home screen is the same. Over here, if you look at the email, I just want to cover a couple of differences. In here, there's notice that it's a bit different. So you're going to have to click on the address book icon. And then if you have your favorites, they'll be listed here. Again, you're going to be, if you're not in the favorites, then you select contacts, and then you'll select your name. All right. Again, you can change the file name, name your document from here if you need to. Just to point out a couple of little differences here. PDF, again, is the multi-page PDF. However, in here, they call it combined files. Don't know why, but that's what they name it. So a combined file is the same thing as a multi-page PDF. Notice that you can still make it searchable, password protected. However, if you did want it as a single page, you uncheck the combined files. Okay, and it tells you right below, all scans will be created as a separate attachment. Okay, so I just want to explain that. Preview allows you to view the image, and let's see, I was just going to demonstrate a little bit. It allows you to preview the image. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so I'm just adding this right here, and the reason I'm doing this is, notice I can't go to the address book and add it like I used to with the AltaLink. So the adding the address, the context to the address book is going to be a little bit different. But I just want to point out the preview. So preview allows you to view the image. So if I click on preview, oh, excuse me, let me put a document on the glass. I apologize. So as you can see, obviously the first page is a blank page. If I need to add more pages, whether it's from the document feeder or the glass, in this case, I selected the glass. Make sure that you place the next document on the glass first, and then press the plus button, and notice that I see an image. Now in here, I can do, I can highlight the document and I can rotate it. So if I had let's say that I had a stack of documents that I scanned in, and one of them was a report and it has to be landscaped, then you can rotate it so when you send the file, it'll be in the right orientation. Can I delete anything? No, I cannot. I can add if I need to scan any more pages. I just keep adding. Just again, make sure that you place the document on the glass or the document feeder. Another thing that's important to remember is you can either use the document feeder mode, or when you're scanning your documents, you can only use one mode, either the document feeder mode, or if you're using the glass, only the glass mode. If I try to load another stack of documents in the feeder now, because I placed this on the glass, let's see what happens. All right, if I press the plus in the document feeder, you notice that it says place your original on the glass, and try again. So you cannot combine the two modes. You can on the AltaLinks, the bigger machines, the 8000s, but on the VersaLinks, it only gives you one option, either the document feeder or the glass. I just wanted to make sure you understood that. Okay, I'm not going to send this. If I was done, I could just hit the send button, but I'm not going to. But I wanted to explain that. Everything else is the same. Okay, you can reset. All right. So how do I add an entry to my device? On the VersaLinks, you have a separate app called the address book. So the address book, very simple, just select it. You see the plus symbol on the upper right-hand corner. Add a contact. Again, if you're doing an email, you can put first and last name. If you're doing a fax, you can enter the company name. So I just put my name here. You could put, and that's up to you, you could put, Sulma, and you could put the last name in one, or you could do it separate if you just wanted to show as first name first, or you could just do Sulma and last name Mora. It's up to you. Keep all kinds of options. Now, if you're doing an email, then just click on the email and enter. I'm just going to put esmora at z.com. It's an example. If I want it to be a favorite, click on the star, hit the OK button. Now, if I'm done, I just hit the OK button. If I needed to add a fax number to that contact as well, then I could just click on the add fax and then type the phone number. If you want to make it a favorite, so be it. And then once you're done, hit the OK button. Now, the next time that you go to your email, select your address book. There you go. That's how you add your contacts right from the control panel. Okay. The other features are the same as the AltaLink. And now what I want to demonstrate is how to, let's see, let me log out of here. So now, if you want to add your contact information through the address book on the web interface, you remember we need to find the IP address for that device. So how do I do that on this one? Obviously, you do not see it here on the screen like you did on the AltaLink. However, if you go to device and select about, remember we talked about information about the device. All you got to do is scroll down. Oh, right here where it says network, under network, it's an IPv4. Here's your IP address, 10.38.5.5. So I go ahead and all you do is type the IP address and it takes you to the home screen. And by the way, if you know you're going to use this, you can save it as a favorite on your bookmark or your list. So this way you don't have to remember what the IP address is each time. Notice that in here you have your screen. Click on the address book. And again, here you go, add a contact. And this is the same thing that you saw when we selected the address book app. You can import, however, again, the file format is going to be a little bit different. You can also export your file format, your address book. So you have the ability to do that as well. So what else? Any questions on this one here? I did want to mention on both of the devices, when it comes to the supplies, the toners, the device will direct you to replace the toner when it's, first of all, you get a message that the toner level is low. That's just a reminder that if you do not have it on hand, to order it, and then you only replace the containers or the cartridges when you are directed to replace, if it's a colored device, the specific color. And then for the devices that have a waste toner container, again, they will direct you to replace it. It is always recommended to keep one on hand so that it doesn't get completely full, because if it's full and you don't have one to replace it with, yeah, there's no printing, no copying capabilities. And if you have it in misfeeds, the device will direct you to go to the specific area. And I think most of you are familiar with the Xerox devices. Everything goes from to the left. If you have the bigger devices, everything, you look to the left side and open the covers to retrieve the paper, but just follow the instructions and it will direct you to remove any misfed paper. And with that, are there any additional questions, anything that comes to mind?
There was one question, and this might be even something, I think Julio is on the
Yes.
on the training. Someone had asked, will our new devices have the same features as the old one, such as a stapler, fax, or do we have to ask for that? I'm assuming like these are sort of like extras that a device that they may currently have that didn't necessarily come embedded in the device, but you know, we're an add-on with the follow-up, the replacement model also have the same features, or do they have to actually ask?
So that's where we'll have to look at the MAID, Steve, to see which device was chosen for that specific department or that specific replacement.
Okay, so we currently retain that information, like they have XYZ model. You know, there's obviously what it came with default wise, but it has these extra features. That's something we have that we can translate
Correct.
to the replace. Okay. All right. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I've one thing that will be happening is like the week before devices for a specific location will be changed. We'll want to set up some sort of, we'll have like a meeting, or if someone can't attend a meeting, at least communicate with the logistics of everything and any questions you may have about what you're receiving and making sure that it has all the features that you need. We'll make sure that that's addressed at that time. Is that accurate, Julio?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for Sulma or Julio? If not, we've hit our the 10:30 ending. Yeah, I just want to go ahead.
No, thank you very much. Go ahead. So that's
Yeah, I
great.
was just going to say, yeah, we've hit the 10:30 ending. I just want to thank everybody for attending. And after the trainings, I do plan to send out like a follow-up email. Yeah, I am recording these sessions, and I'll make those available on the PrintSmart website for anybody who couldn't attend. And also I'll include maybe any applicable documents, maybe related to training, and the contact information for both Sulma and Julio. So if that's it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Walt.
Thank you.
Thanks.